So we're going down the mountain and I'm saying, holy shit, somebody's going to get killed. And I'm thinking about what to do. And I'm saying, I could take this snow hook and throw it in a tree. But I said, if I do that, I said, everything's going to come to a quick halt. Somebody's going to get hurt. So I'm riding the brake like this and just sweating and just really nervous. I'm on both feet on it. Catches on the root of a tree, the handlebars come up, hit me in the chest, flip me into the sled bag. Now I'm going down the mountain, sitting in my sled bag. Finally I got back up, and my take on the race is there's about 100 miles of the race where one mistake you can die. There's about 300 miles where 2 mistakes you can die, and then the rest is you're probably allowed 3 mistakes. But what happens is we're tired, so we're not thinking coherently all the time. So anyway, I get back up on my sled. We finally make it to the bottom, and I realize I'm hurt pretty bad. And in the end, jumping ahead, but I found out I broke 3 ribs. So I got 800 miles yet to go with 3 broken ribs.
This is the newly Christian adventure whale. It's an adventure whale because it's big as it's hard to park and it's gray. There's our adventure cabin for the weekend, our adventure outhouse, and adventure-y snow. I mean, we just got all the adventures going on right now. I've been trying to do this trip for years. Let me explain. It's very hard to find dog sledders here in New York State, and we found one. But then we found one, and then guess what? She doesn't let us ride her dog. Okay, so now we found one that lets us ride his dog, but he's 7 hours away from New York City, so we have to road trip it. And guess what we found? We found the remnants of the polar vortex. 2 feet of pure awesomeness of snow. It ain't fresh, it's a little crunchy, but it's good. We can ride it. We're gonna ride some dogs and all that good stuff. We're gonna see what's going on with this guy. His name is Spencer, Call of the Wild. He's got a pretty dope layout over here. He's got hella dogs, and we're gonna meet those doggies today. And those doggies are gonna be dope. They're gonna be great. Let's see how it goes with the dogs. Super stoked. Whoop whoop, dog sledding. Woo. There is the man himself.
Did you have a good evening?
Yes, sir.
Good.
It was fantastic. It was like lap of luxury.
Good morning, Grace. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. You slept okay?
Yes, slept very well.
How I got involved is that I used to be a bit of a workaholic, and I had my own engineering company, testing laboratory and so on, Atlantic Testing Laboratory, which we do work in the city, and we do a lot of work in the city for this Department of Environmental Conservation on the water reservoirs and all that. So anyway, I had my own company, and I was sitting in my office one Sunday working, beautiful day outside, and kind of like today, and I'm thinking I should really be outside because my uncle brought me up, my uncle and my father, they were both big outdoors people, so my whole life all I did was hunt and fish and so on. And so I said, well, what will force me to get outside? And I started thinking about all the stories my uncle told me. Unfortunately, I didn't hear all those stories before he passed, but so I said, I'll get a couple sled dogs. Well, I got a couple sled dogs, and all of a sudden I had 8, and all of a sudden I had 16. Pretty soon I was up to 60. Everybody had warned me about the gorge, how bad it was. 3 years ago, 10 mushers broke bones in the gorge, 10 different mushers. And every year, there's people that get hurt there. I went down through there, there's open water, it's like unbelievable. And all the way, my favorite words were holy shit, and the higher the octave, the more trouble I was in. So the dogs kind of learned that. I'm going down through there and I'm just like, we're gonna die. Finally we get to the bottom and it's like, wow, I don't know how we made it through that. We get into Roan, which is the next checkpoint, and I liken it to a Civil War encampment. There was broken sleds, there were people cut up, there were bonfires going, people were drying out.
It's all you, man. Sledding. I understand why you decided to give it all up and do this.
We actually sleep. If we're on good level ground and we know that the trail is going to be level, we'll actually lay on the sled bag and sleep. But we also learn to sleep like this. We just kneel down, put our head here. Wow. We tie ourselves to the sled, so if we fall off, we're still attached to the sled. So, when I got into Nikolai, I was really, really hurting, and I was really losing it mentally. And you not only have to be physically tough, you have to be mentally tough, maybe more so mentally. But the cardinal rule is mushing is if you think you're going to drop out of the race, and I was thinking about dropping out, you sit on your sled, you say, am I dropping? And if you say yes, you sit on your sled. Am I dropping? You say yes, you keep sitting there until you say no, I'm going on. So I did there's a mandatory 24-hour layover, so I took my 24-hour layover there, which was earlier than I wanted to. But I said, I've got to do something to get me mentally back in this race. So my granddaughter was supposed to be born the day I started the race, and she hadn't been born yet in Nikolai when I got there. So I bought a little doll from one of the Indian girls, and I put it in my sled bag, and I said, okay, my mission now is to get this doll to Nome. And that became my challenge. That was what kept me in the race.
Yeah.
You're pointing it at me?
Yeah.
See, it's not gonna be, just be tugged.
You alright, man? Only like
Oh shit! Oh, yeah, baby.
Another year I ran 3 days at minus 85 wind chill for 3 days. Never got inside. When I finally got to a heated building, they took a hairdryer to get me out of my clothes.
They would, what did they what?
A hairdryer. 30 minutes with a hairdryer to get my
'Cause it was
clothes thawed
frozen?
out. Yeah, my clothes were all froze on me. I mean, I was warm, but the clothes, you couldn't unzip anything.